Through their chairman, Board of Trustees, Bashir Al-Hatu, they presented their list of requests to ease socio-economic pressure in the country and to facilitate development. Improved funding for education, improved security, completion of the Mambila Power Project, rehabilitation of road network, dredging of rivers Niger and Benue are among their priority requests.
Amongst others, we have drawn the attention, to your kind attention, Your Excellency, the ongoing railway and highway projects, the oil and gas exploration in the north, the need for accelerated development of hydro and renewable energy technologies, the early completion of the AKK, Ajakuta Kaduna Kano gas pipeline project, the Great Green Wall, and other climate change mitigating measures, etc.
And the requests of these leaders appear to equally be the priority of the president. And he says the number of out-of-school children, level of infrastructure decay, poverty in part of the country are not acceptable.
Education is a tool against poverty. That brought so many of us here. The reflection of poverty in the north is unacceptable. It is the interest of Nigeria to make sure that we pay attention to the cause and eradicate the reason for that situation.
But while promising more hard work to improve the social and economic situation in the country, President Tinubu has a passionate appeal to heads of government at the sub-national level through these leaders.
I will appeal to you to summon the governors summon them, call them up. I'm doing my best to improve the revenue of the country and giving them their dues. But they must equally be sympathetic to the populace, and they must consider the need of the local people. People reside in the local government. If the local government are not free, don't hang on to the number. We have 774 local government. It's just a number. Is it effective? Is it reaching the real people? And when we want the votes, we go to the locals. When we get the vote, we move to Abuja.
And with Nigeria providentially united in diversity, the president says this remains a strength that must be protected. From the State House, Musbao and Wahab, NTA News.
President Bola Tinubu has commended the teamwork of the FCT administration in actualizing promises made to the people, specifically on infrastructure. The president, while inaugurating the Wuye-Wuse Bridge on the invitation of the Minister of the FCT, Nyesom Wike, says the landmark achievement will promote the economic viability of the nation's capital. Aisha Obali reports.
Awarded in 2009, the project has finally been completed for the benefit of the FCT residents. While giving an overview of the project, the Executive Secretary FCDA Hadi Ahmed says the interchange links the various districts. Minister of State FCT Dr. Maria Mahmoud promises the administration's commitment to appreciating the support of President Tinubu, the legislature and all stakeholders for achieving such a laudable feat.
We thank all those involved in the provision of engineering infrastructure in Wuye districts of our nation's capital city, Abuja. Your dedication and hard work have significantly contributed to the growth and development of our city.
Wike, while appreciating the president for taking out FCTA from the Treasury's single account, says that singular privilege contributed to the actualization of most projects by his team.
So you can imagine 15 years we are struggling to construct just one interchange. And you can imagine the hardship the people here had faced. The business activities, of course, will crumble. But to the glory of God and by determination, and that's why you have said that your intention or your mission is to bring back hope that have been lost. So people of this area will always appreciate you and thank you for this interchange.
President Tinubu reassured that the people-centered policies of his administration is to make the people have a better livelihood towards building a better Nigeria.
We are investing in essential services such as water supply, electricity, and road network. We are laying the groundwork for economic growth and prosperity, social progress, and improvement in the quality of life for all residents of Abuja Capital Territory.
More projects are expected to be inaugurated in the next few days to mark 1 year in office of the President Tinubu-led administration. In Abuja, Aisha Obali, NTA News.
And now to the documentary on the first year anniversary of President Bola Tinubu in office. Now NTA continues transmission of special documentaries reflecting highlights of President Tinubu's administration as part of activities marking his 1 year in office. And tonight, the final set of documentaries will be aired. At 8 to 8:30 p.m. comes the documentary on retracing steps, realigning Nigeria's value charter, and at 9 p.m. the gavel and the government will come on air. The series promises to be insightful. And with the blue economy expected to rake in a revenue of $15.5 trillion by 2050, the Nigerian Navy needs to be fully equipped to secure the nation's maritime space, placing the country in a vantage position to benefit from the gains. Vice President Kashim Shettima, while inaugurating 3 naval ships and 2 helicopters as part of the 68th anniversary of the Nigerian Navy, says government will continue to place premium on improving capacity. Joel Bobola reports.
The Nigerian Navy, now in its 68th year, has been a force to be reckoned with globally, taking active part in the protection of Nigeria's maritime domain against piracy and other unwholesome activities. Special guest of honor President Bola Tinubu, represented by Vice President Kashim Shettima, notes that with the increase in the nation's naval assets, the wealth of the blue economy is secured with addition of NNS Nor, Ochuzo, Chalawa, and helicopters. Vice President Shettima, alongside Minister of State for Defense, Chief of Naval Staff, and other dignitaries on board the NNS cadre, officially flagged up the regional international maritime exercise tagged Exercise Abokun. The Vice President also declared the International Maritime Conference with 15 participating countries opened. He commended the Nigerian Navy for their remarkable feats.
Our promise to meet the needs of the Nigerian Navy is rooted in our understanding of its critical role in achieving national order. We shall continue to support regional and international collaborations, as well as the partnership efforts of the Nigerian Navy to provide the enabling environment for Africa's blue economy to thrive.
The Chief of Naval Staff, Vice Admiral Emmanuel Ogala, Minister of State for Defense Bello Matawale, and other speakers are optimistic that federal government projections for the blue economy will now be fast-tracked.
This will translate to a secure maritime environment for the Gulf of Guinea, Nigeria, and all seafarers to conduct legitimate businesses for economic prosperity and national development.
Further participation and support from our regional navies, because we know that the crime and the challenges that are facing us and global challenges.
The Vice President and other stakeholders later toured the naval exhibition stands where various products and latest maritime technology were displayed. The theme of the sea exercise, marking 68 years of the Nigerian Navy, is promoting the blue economy in Africa through international cooperation on maritime security. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
The federal government has inaugurated the National Genomic Surveillance Consortium, a strategy to improve preparedness and reinforce health security in Nigeria. Director General, Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, Dr. Olajide Idris, says the genomic surveillance is a One Health approach to implementing national programs on health that will prepare Nigeria for informing diagnostics, vaccines production, and biosecurity consciousness. Oluseyi Adeagbo has details.
Approaches to infectious diseases control are evolving, with many high-throughput sequencing and data handling technologies. The advent of COVID-19 2019-2020 opens many countries to the role of genomic surveillance as an essential public health tool. Many countries have continued to sustain lessons learned, especially the impact of technology in the fight against the pandemic. The Nigeria Center for Disease Control and Prevention, NCDC, now champions the formation of a national genomic sequencing, setting national health security as priority.
We were able to make our first sequence following the amplification of a strand of Ebola. The primers used were pan-phyllo.
Your commitment to advancing our national health infrastructure through genomic science is truly commendable. We at CHI are eager to offer our full support and collaboration.
This is apt and in the right direction of moving the country forward. And the Federal Ministry of Environment is committed to global health security.
Part of the consortium's task is to develop national genomic surveillance strategy and reviewing sequencing activities across laboratories nationwide.
Over the years, new technologies have come up. This one we're talking about now is one of the latest technologies, genomic sequencing. This one you go deep into the structure of our makeup, genetic makeup, DNA. We can discover a lot of information. We can use the science for a lot of things. One of them is how to detect these diseases, how they are transmitted, so that we can react quickly.
While Nigeria keeps experiencing the reoccurrence of infectious diseases such as Lassa fever, monkeypox, and others, these players in national response to infectious disease control and prevention believe the country will be better strengthened, especially as sub-national entities in health response and improving the nation's pandemic preparedness. In Abuja, Oluseyi Adeagbo, NTA News.
You're watching the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Stay with us as we bring you more reports after this break.
It's been an uncommon year of public policy and governance to renew hope in Africa's largest democracy. Beginning May 27, join us on TV, online and on mobile for a series of documentaries and live shows as we detail the hope, resilience and progress of Nigeria in the last 1 year. Tune in as we make sense of Nigeria's paradigm shift in monetary and fiscal policies, death of the parasitic monster called subsidy, and boost in agriculture and food security. NTA.
Thanks for staying tuned. Now, the chairman, Independent National Electoral Commission, Professor Yakubu Mahmood, says the recent flooding of the Commission's facilities in Edo State will not in any way affect the conduct of the governorship election and ongoing continuous voter registration exercise in the state. Professor Mahmood, who was on a working visit to the state, reassured Edo people that every resource needed for the conduct of the election will be adequately provided. Jude Abugo has details.
The chairman was joined on arrival by the Federal Controller of Works, Edo State, and officials of the Commission to assess damage caused by the flooding with a view to finding solution to reoccurring flood incidents in Edo INEC office. He assured personnel and voters in the state that every equipment damaged by flooding will be replaced.
We have 3 months and 3 weeks to the election, and that's why the Commission came to inspect what happened to our office on Friday last week. So there is no immediate plan to relocate. We believe, based on what we have seen, we can fix the problem ahead of the election. And it's better actually that we conduct the election in our own facilities.
The State Resident Electoral Commissioner, Anubum Onoha, thanked the chairman for his swift response to the flood incident.
All the assurance we are giving you here is that the mandate and the vision of the Commission will be maintained in Edo.
The chairman, Mahmoud Yakubu, visited some severe registration centers to monitor the process and to address concerns arising from the exercise. The INEC chairman assured electorate that he will meet with heads of security agencies in the state to address their security concerns. In Benin, Jude Abugu, NTA News.
Now to the Temple of Justice, where the Supreme Court has ordered the 36 state governors to file their defense within 7 days in a suit filed by the federal government on democratization of the third tier of government. In this suit, the federal government is seeking full autonomy for the 774 local governments across the country. Dele Atumbi of our Judiciary Desk reports.
This matter was filed by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, on behalf of the federal government as plaintiff against the Attorneys General of the 36 states on behalf of the 36 states governors as defendants. Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice as the Chief Law Officer of the nation filed the suit on 20th May 2024. In the originating summons, the Attorney General of the Federation, Lateef Fagbemi SAN, is seeking full autonomy for local governments as the third tier of government in the country. The Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice is praying the Supreme Court for an order prohibiting state governors from unilateral, arbitrary, and unlawful dissolution of democratically elected local government officials. The plaintiff is also praying the Apex Court for an order permitting the funds standing in credits of local governments to be directly channeled to them from the Federation account in line with the provisions of the Constitution as against the alleged unlawful joint account created by governors. He also sought an order of the Apex Court stopping governors from constituting caretaker committees to run the affairs of local governments as against the constitutionally recognized system. Besides, the federal government applied for an order of injunction restraining the governors, their agents and privies from receiving, spending, or tampering with funds released from Federation account for the benefits of local governments when no democratically elected local government system is in place in the states. At the commencement of hearing, 28 states entered appearance while 8 states were absent. The Supreme Court ordered the defendants to file their defense within 7 days. The 7-man panel of justices led by Justice Garba Lawa gave the order while ruling on an application for abridgment of time argued by the Attorney General of the Federation and Minister of Justice Lateef Fagbemi SAN. Justice Lawa said that the decision of the court was predicated on the national urgency of the suit and the non-objection from the Attorneys General of the 36 states of the Federation. Justice Lawa ordered that the 8 states yet to enter appearance in the matter as at Thursday's proceeding must be served with fresh hearing notice. The court aired that filing of all processes and exchanging of same must be completed within the time and subsequently fixed June 13 for hearing of the suit. In Abuja, Dele Atumbi, NTA News.
And the High Court in Koton-Karfe, Kogi State has given a ruling on the joinder of Mopamoro Local Government Traditional Council, Okun Area Traditional Council and Muyiwa Ibeun as defendants in a pending suit before it. Jonathan Omajali reports that the chieftaincy tussle litigation is with regards to the stool of the Elulu of Mopa in Mopa Moro local government area of Kogi State.
The pending issue before the High Court in Kutun Karfi is the selection and nomination of a candidate for the stool of Elulu of Mopa, following the death of Oba Julius Juledo in October 2023. Applicants in the suit are His Royal Highness Oba David Ekundayo Ojuleri, the Oba of Iloke Community in Mopa, Rotimi Omokore, Abayomi Akeju, and Isaac Olaruwaju Ogudari. The claimants are seeking redress for what they consider a violation of the rotational chieftaincy arrangements in Mopa, a community in Mopa Muruluku government area of Kogi State. According to them, there are 4 ruling houses entitled to the Lulu stool of Mopa, and that the first 3 have already had their reigns. They argue that the Ipatia ruling house is next in line based on the existing arrangement before a new king from outside the clan was coronated.
So we are expecting such a thing. That, okay, Iloke, go and give us a king. Then Iloke will sit down and call Patia, oh yeah, Patia, go and give us a king. That is the rotational pattern our fathers used to do it. And that is what we are hoping that we are going to do, not until different hands begin to enter. We interjected, we complained. This thing is not the normal way. We try to change, we try to advise. And it is not right. It is not right. All these advices were thrown overboard.
The respondents included Otumba David Saul, representing himself and Mopa Traditional Council, Mopa Muruluku Government and Chieftaincy Affairs, and the Attorney General of Kogi State. During the sitting on May 27, 2024, Justice Aminu Eri of the High Court Kutun Karfi gave a ruling on the joinder of Mopa Muruluku Government Traditional Council, Okun Area Traditional Council, and Muyiwa Iben as defendants in the pending suit.
There was an application filed by the claimant seeking to join the Mopamuro Local Government Traditional Council, the Okun Area Traditional Council, and also the Owa of Mopa, Muyiwa Iben. Yes, that application was granted by the judge this morning.
The next hearing is scheduled for July 10, 2024. From Kutun Karfi, Jonathan Omajali, NTA News.
Now, as part of activities marking the President administration's 1 year in office, wife of the Nasarawa State Governor Silifat Abdullahi Sule has paid a moral-boosting visit to inmates at the Lafia Custodial Center. Ayena Jai Auta reports that the wife of the governor urged the inmates to make the best use of their stay so that they will be better citizens when they are out of the center.
In company of wives of some principal officers of the state government, the visit is to commemorate the first year anniversary of Governor Abdullahi Sule's second tenure in office, while presenting food items such as rice, spaghetti, noodles, oil and detergent. Wife of the governor Silifat Abdullahi Sule urged the inmates to be open to learning and correction and to be of good conduct.
I understand your predicament here, but I beg you not to give up.
She charged them to take advantage of the various skills available in the custodial center to equip themselves in order to become useful in the society. Commissioner for Women Affairs and Social Development, Aisha Rufai Ibrahim, restates government commitment towards the welfare and rehabilitation of inmates in the state. The state controller, Adamu Yahaya, thanked the governor's wife for her benevolence and prayed that God will reward her.
I have less words to offer or to say than to say, may God bless you.
He appealed for mobility to facilitate the movement of inmates to court. In Lafia, Ayena J. Auta, NTA News.
It's still the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Stay tuned for more reports. Thanks for staying with us. Now, traditional institutions play a pivotal role in ensuring peaceful coexistence, with a constitutional role that will restore this highly revered institution to its pride of place. Many of the teething problems bedeviling the nation will easily be nipped in the bud before escalating to a festering sore. Esunupe His Eminence Al-Haji Yahya Abubakar at a public lecture organized by the Nigerian Institute of International Affairs on Traditional Authority and National Integration, says the experience of the monarchs is germane to the indivisibility of Nigeria. Joel Bobola reports.
The successes recorded by traditional institutions in effectively managing their subjects dates back to pre-colonial era. Even in the colonial era, the British government relied majorly on their wealth of experience to administer the country. At this public discourse on traditional authority and national integration, Esunupe, His Eminence Alhaji Yahya Abubakar, says like the proverbial prodigal son, it is time to pay serious attention to some of the alternative solutions that made Nigeria of our founding fathers livable for all. The guest lecturer notes that the National Council of Traditional Rulers should be recognized beyond just advisory role alone.
The philosophy of unity, security, economic and other challenges bedeviling Nigeria need the positive contributions of all and sundry to contain them. The traditional institution is perhaps the most veritable tool to be used in this regard.
For the Director General of NIIA, Professor Ehosa Osagai, and other speakers, including traditional rulers, Nigeria cannot afford to relegate the oldest institution to the background, especially in view of their influence at the grassroots.
We need to acknowledge the role of traditional institutions. In the constitutional review, maybe it's part of what should be discussed.
Governments come and go, the traditional institutions remain. They are more closer and they are more conscious of the security because they know everybody within the community.
The traditional institutions need to be recognized, need to be put into proper perspective.
While conversations like this, which seeks to strengthen traditional institutions, continue, stakeholders agreed that there is need for wider consultations to make Nigeria's democratic structure align with the principles that speak to our national identity. In Lagos, Joel Bukbola, NTA News.
The Nigerian Institute of Training and Development has inducted the Director General of the NTA, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, as a Fellow of the Institute during its 28th Annual General Meeting in Abuja. Ibrahim Bellugunda reports that the Institute is changing the narrative of opportunities available by empowering fellows using global best practices in facilitating training and development.
The 28th Annual General Meeting of the Nigerian Institute of Training and Development highlights changes taking place in the Institute, financial and council report, as well as challenges and opportunities for fellows during the year under review.
I want to be remembered for transforming NITED to a greater height than I met it.
During the year under review, the Institute organized and successfully implemented one open program for Federal Inland Revenue Services, FIRS. Also, the Institute had its monthly free webinar series for members and non-members.
The Institute conferred a fellowship award to the Director General of NTA, Saliu Abdulhamid Dembos, represented by Executive Director, Administration and Training, Nansal Nimial, who was also awarded fellowship of the Institute, expected to contribute to their mission and vision.
The honor is being done to the Director General of NTA, as well as, to me, the Executive Director in charge of Administration and Training. And this is very key. It is something that we believe will motivate us, to give greater attention to training. The only thing that is constant, in life is change. And training enables you to prepare, for that change.
New executives that will pilot the affairs of the Institute, led by the President and Chairman Governing Council, James Pulus, were elected.
I'm deeply grateful for your trust and the confidence reposed in me to lead this prestigious institute forward.
He promised to bring new ideas and innovation that will impact the Institute. In Abuja, Ibrahim Bellugunda, NTA News.
Now, more Nigerians are opting for skills development for more sustainable sources of livelihoods. In Akwa Ibom State, a non-governmental organization, the Mary Slessor Akan Glow Foundation, is giving women the leverage to support each other as well as the vulnerable to purchase needed equipment to upskill their trades. Clement Barikui witnessed one of such instances where young underprivileged artisans were presented with working accessories.
The atmosphere depicts a people who are grateful to a woman who has decided to teach them how to fish instead of giving them fish. The empowerment cut across 2 beneficiaries selected from each of the 10 local government areas in Ikot Senatorial District, the country home of the Senate President, Gasula Kpabio.
I feel very excited receiving this. It's very expensive now, we all know. Through our mother, I get this free. I pray that God will bless her. I'm very, very excited. All thanks to Dr. Glory Edet.
At the forefront of this gesture is a philanthropist, Dr. Glory Edet, who has promised to keep the legacies of the Scottish missionary Mary Slessor in the area of humanitarian services afloat.
As a foundation, by the special grace of God, will continue to add value and continue with the work of Mary Michelle Slessor.
And she's done something before for the farmers. She's been doing for different people, for multiple birth parents. Now the women have taken their turn.
This is the 6th women empowerment in 2024 alone by the donor. Clement Barikui, NTA News.
Now, the Galaxy Backbone One government cloud embodies the fusion of cutting-edge technology and strategic vision, offering ministries, departments and agencies a centralized ecosystem for data storage. Managing Director, Galaxy Backbone, Professor Ibrahim Adeyanju, says the One Government Cloud is hinged on Presidential Priority 8 of improving governance for effective service delivery. ICT correspondent Olajide Bello reports that this was at the Galaxy Backbone One Cloud retreat for ministries, departments and agencies in Abuja.
In the ever-evolving landscape of Nigeria's digital infrastructure, the introduction of Galaxy Backbone One Government Cloud stands as pivotal moment in the nation's technological trajectory. Designed as a unified platform to streamline operations and enhance efficiency across ministry departments and agencies, MDAs, this innovative initiative represents a bold step towards modernizing governance in Nigeria.
I think this meeting is apt, not only because it speaks to the need to digitize the public service, but because it's also bringing key stakeholders together who should be the ones to drive this process if the country is going to move forward.
The story began with a spark of innovation ignited by the realization that Nigeria's governmental operations needed to evolve to keep pace with the digital age. With determination in the heart of Galaxy Backbone and lines of code at their fingertips, the team set out to revolutionize the backbone of Nigeria's digital infrastructure.
We are excited to introduce the Galaxy Backbone One Government Cloud as a combination of infrastructure and software as a service framework aimed at providing the federal ministries, departments and agencies with the software and secure data storage they require through a standardized unified interface.
As the digital landscape of Nigeria began to transform, whispers of change rippled across the nation as Ramatu Sulaiman, Director, Administration and Human Resource, NTA Headquarters, says the retreat has expanded her horizon of digital technology for administrative purpose.
The Galaxy Backbone came up with this One Government Cloud system, a framework where all the government documents or organizations, MDAs, will come together and form and be under one cloud. All documents can be saved there and you can access them anytime.
Galaxy Backbone says it will continue to push the boundaries of what was possible, leveraging emerging technologies and forging new partnerships to propel Nigeria into the forefront of the digital age. Olajide Bello, NTA News.
Religious organizations will have to be deliberate in supporting the federal government's quest to tackle poverty and improve the plight of less privileged. This is coming at a Zakat distribution event by Jais Charity and Development Foundation in Abuja. Tope Alabi reports.
Available data from the National Bureau of Statistics, NBS, shows that 63% of persons living in Nigeria are multidimensionally poor, with challenges of weak job creation and entrepreneurial prospects for the 3.5 million unemployed youths it churns out yearly.
We consistently observe the continuous rise in inequality among our people, the low status of state capacity to deliver dividends of good governance.
These, among other issues, are why Jais Charity and Development Foundation has been changing the narrative since 2012 to address the structural inequalities, using zakat to ease the suffering of the poor and the needy.
We might not have been able to touch the 20 million Nigerians at a time. We sometimes think our effort is insignificant. We think it's like a drop in the ocean, but we should know that the ocean will be less without that drop.
Permit me to assure you that the Foundation will continue to deploy its Islamic social finance instruments to alleviate the hardship of the less privileged.
Zakat, which is a purification of one's wealth. We're hoping that those that are receiving the zakat will also, in the course of the next few months, will also be given zakat.
Respite came knocking for 24-year-old fashion designer Umar Salihu, who for 10 years has been without a sewing machine, and 35-year-old Abdul Ghani Busari, whose entire shop was lost to a fire incident last year.
Anything he lost, it could come back later. But as I come here today, I'm very, very happy.
I don't have the capacity to buy this sewing machine, but now, alhamdulillah, I've gotten it to help me to have more customers.
I've been given a grinding machine, and inshallah it's going to assist me in so many ways because I'm still a student.
May Allah reward them abundantly, because this is the day that I can never forget.
Each organization, no matter how small, no matter how little, if we can do this in our areas, we rest assured that even governments will have more time to do better things for people.
Out of about 11,000 who benefited from the 500 million naira zakat distributed between 2016 and 2024, 501 shared 70 million naira worth this year as relief, including equipment for artisans, shop owners, as well as business startups.
Clerics believe steps like these will improve the quality of life and provide timely socio-economic support and interventions to the Ummah and humanity at large. In Abuja, Tope Alabi, NTA News.
Without a purposeful and consistent effort to foster trust and build strong relationships at every step of the way, even the best designed and thoughtful engagement processes will fail or fall short of the success one seeks to achieve. This was the argument of the Director of Public Relations, Nigeria Air Force Air Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, at the monthly engagement meeting of the Nigeria Institute of Public Relations, FCT chapter, with the theme, Building Public Trust, the Nigerian Air Force Approach to Repetition Management. Hamman Jabani reports.
The importance of trust in all engagements cannot be undervalued, as it poses serious challenges to those seeking to engage communities in an effective discussion-making and participation processes. This is why the Director of Public Relations, Nigerian Air Force Vice Marshal Edward Gapquet, who was represented in his presentation, says, in spite of the factors that affected the force's reputation in the past, a lot of strategies have been deployed in rebuilding trust that include limiting of releases of the Nigerian Air Force activities in the media space, third-party engagement, effective and strategic communication, among others.
Insurgency has made it necessary for us to participate in a lot of internal security operations, and the public must be aware of everything we are doing. We are to continuously build trust and let them know that we are doing all these things because of them. So we do this consistently. We talk less but we do so much.
President and Chairman of Council of NIPR, Dr. Ike Nieleaku, charged members to live by the new dawn ideologies and principles while changing the narrative as public relations experts.
Professional value, reputation value, and financial value. Anything you are doing, please make sure, even in life, that these three values are represented. Remember that good people practice public relations, but great people belong to NIPR.
And in the place of public relations, it's not just about going for publics, it's about packaging relationship. Because the truth is, when it comes to PR, you are not just doing public relations, you are packaging relationships. And the power of packaging relationships is the power and the dynamic of defining the transactional currency of your community and of your society.
Some members commended the Nigerian Air Force for its contribution in the fight against insecurity while appealing for a better synergy, for a better service to the people. Chairman of the FCT chapter inaugurated project and partnership, corporate solution, social responsibility and sustainability, and 2024 AGM committees. Hamman Jabani, NTA News.
Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives, Benjamin Kalu, has condemned the attack on a military checkpoint at Obikabia Junction in Ogbo Hill area of Aba, Abia State, on the Thursday by yet-to-be-identified assailants, which reportedly left 4 soldiers dead. In a statement, the Deputy Speaker says the killing of the military personnel who were on lawful duty was unwarranted, outrageous and condemnable. Kalu, who represents Benda Federal Constituency of Abia State, reiterates that the sit-at-home order in the southeast contradicts the Indigo spirit, noting that Aba people are better known for their enterprise and spirit. While suing for peace, Kalu commiserated with the families of the victims, assuring the military hierarchy of legislative interventions to help unravel the masterminds of the attack. Bayelsa State government has advised people of the state to follow due process in resolving issues rather than embarking on protests to press their demands. Timinipre Ohia reports that the governor gave the advice at the State Security Council meeting while reacting to a protest by youths who besieged Government House over the killing of a taxi driver by a policeman in Azikoro community.
Bayelsa State Governor Senator Doye Dhiri at the 33rd State Security Council meeting expressed displeasure over frivolous protests embarked by youth of the state to resolving issues, noting that due process be followed to channel their grievances rather than resorting to protests. Governor was reacting to a recent protest from some youth over the killing of one Binalayefa Asiaye, a cab driver, on 27th May 2024 by a police officer in Azikoro community. He further stated that although protest is fundamental human rights in a democratic setting, people should not take the laws into their hands by infringing on the rights of others, revealing that the said police officer has been apprehended and undergoing trial.
Please, again, I want to advise that it is not always protest. That incident happened, and immediately the security, the state government brought it under control and nipped it in the bud. If not, it would have developed beyond the killing of just one youth.
Briefing journalists at the end of the council meeting, the Commissioner of Police Bayelsa State, Mr. Francis Idu, affirmed the arrest of the officer in question, stressing that the command does not tolerate any officer to drag the command in disrepute.
Using the contact of the policeman with people. And that's why if you come, we have drones, we have cameras on the street. And I invite you, even now, as I'm going, follow me. Seeing is believing. Your state is under a very great surveillance system. I think one of the best in the country. Go and check. So be rest assured that the policeman that acted acted on his own. It's not a daily occurrence. I think this is just one of these things that happen. We're dealing with it. We've learned lessons from it, painful lessons.
Iyenagwa, Timinapri, or here, NTA News.
The chairman, Southeast Governors Forum, and Imo State Governor, Senator Hope Uzodinma, has condemned the gruesome murder of military personnel in Aba, Abia State by unknown gunmen, enforcing illegal sit-at-home order. Kingsley Ononiwu reports that the governor made the condemnation while briefing newsmen on the unfortunate incident at the Government House, Owerri. The report is here presented.
Governor Uzodinma describes as dastardly the gruesome murder of some innocent military personnel who were on their legitimate duty posts in Aba, Abia State by unknown gunmen enforcing the May 30 sit-at-home order issued by members of the proscribed indigenous people of Biafra in honor of the Biafran fallen heroes.
Use the opportunity to condemn in very strong terms the incident that happened in Aba today. So on behalf of the members, my brother governors of the Southeast Governors Forum, to condemn that incident, the loss of the lives of soldiers who were on their duty posts without any provocation, were attacked by men of the underworld.
While condoling with the Chief of Army Staff over the atrocious act, the governor called on the army authorities to do everything humanly possible to fish out the perpetrators with a view to dealing with them in accordance with the law of the land.
Whoever they are, whether terrorists or non-government or whatever, or they are men of underworld, have scored on the security agencies to do their job without any hindrance. Get those behind this dastard act, bring them to book, and ensure that something that will act as a deterrent is done.
He, however, regretted that the unprovoked killings of the soldiers will have a negative impact on the efforts being made by the Southeast political leaders and stakeholders to restore lasting peace in the region.
It's going to act as a major setback to the peace process which the governors from Southeast has been pursuing, been talking to federal government, been talking to security agencies and other critical stakeholders on how best to resolve the problem of insecurity in the Southeast. This action of today is going to be a major setback to that process.
Governor Uzodinma further called for all hands to be on deck in the fight against men of the underworld in the Southeast geopolitical zone.
Now to education, a digital resource center that will provide wide range of digital educational materials, including textbooks, lesson plans, videos, and interactive content accessible to students and teachers, has been inaugurated by the Minister of Education, Professor Tahir Mamman. Christiana Conde reports that this is in the quest to upgrade and secure the future of education through the use of up-to-date technology.
Established for UBEC is expected to serve as
Now, the Kaduna State government has inaugurated one of the modern science secondary schools constructed across the 3 geopolitical zones in the state. The Kaduna State Governor Ubasani, who unveiled one of the school equipped with modern learning equipment at Rigachikun, says the initiative is to make the state lead in science education with the goal of producing the best science students in the country. Muhammad Umar Ajinge reports.
The idea of constructing these modern science secondary schools across the 3 geopolitical zones in the state was to achieve the dream of the state government of ensuring students in Kaduna State have access to quality science education to produce the best students in science-related subjects across the country. It is equipped with modern facilities purposely designed to foster innovation and practical skills among the students to prepare them for future scientific endeavors.
Administration has prioritized education because it is the best investment against poverty and insecurity. When you give a person education, you have empowered him or her for life.
The governor also visited construction sites of technical and vocational acquisition centers in Rigachukun and Soba, an ambitious project aimed at creating business opportunities for the youth in Kaduna State.
We realized that we're having a skill deficit in Kaduna State, and we believe that is the way to go by giving our teeming youths skills so that they can be gainfully employed in most of the industries we have in Kaduna and outside Kaduna, and even in overseas.
When completed, the technical and vocational skill centers are expected to offer training in oil and gas welding, iron fabrication, electrical and solar power installation, among other skills. In Kaduna, I am Muhammad Murajingi, NTA News.
And that concludes the news at 10 on NTA News 24. Thanks for watching. I'm Zenret Dingmon.